I don't read the comments because the people who comment are the ones who have nothing better to do. Okay? The average consumer, the average person, they watch or they don't. They like or they don't. The people who will take the time to actually write something and bitch about it aren't really worth our time.
Ja, der Jan hier von nStuff und wir sind heute in Berlin mit Disturbed, die nach einer langjährigen Pause jetzt wieder mit einem neuen Album am Start sind und sich netterweise ein bisschen Zeit für uns genommen haben für ein kleines Interview. Yeah, hi guys, how are you?
Guten Morgen.
Great.
Yeah, guten Morgen. So, how is it for you to getting back on track again and doing all the work for a new album after your little time off you had since the last album?
It was an amazing experience. I would say that it's like getting back on a bicycle, but this was a different bicycle, I would say. The experience was really gratifying on a number of different levels. Not having worked with each other for a while, and in particular with this record, not having written in each other's presence for many, many years, since the Believe record cycle. It was really inspiring and invigorating to get back in a room with my brothers and create, instantly, and be able to do things improvisationally and bounce ideas off each other right away. And even the interaction during the whole recording process was much, much more fluid, and it was much more cohesive. Everybody had, the ability to comment and suggest on everybody else's pieces and parts, and the cooperation and the desire and the willingness to kind of go to whatever direction we wanted to go, to take whatever step we wanted to go, was really a wonderful thing. And then to sit back and know that you still have the ability to get back together with your brothers and write what, in our opinion, is some pretty amazing stuff, kind of makes everything all worthwhile.
Yeah. So you would say it was the right decision to take a break and just leave the cycle, like you say? And
Yeah, I think so. At that point in our career, we were already been on the road for a good 11 years, pretty hardcore touring throughout that whole time. And but to walk away when we were kind of at the peak of our career was a big decision to make as well. But we felt that at that point, we wanted to give the fans a little bit of a break, give ourselves a break from it, just to step back and kind of unwind for a minute, and to just stop the machine for a minute. It was just everything just kind of, we don't want to be predictable with the same routine of what we do as well. But it gave us a time and a chance to really appreciate this and miss it. Not that we didn't appreciate it before, but to get away from it, you appreciate even that much more when you step back and look at what we've accomplished together over the years and what the fans have given us. So when we start having those conversations last year of if we're all in the right frame of mind, if we all felt like we were ready to get back at it, and like David mentioned, get back in a room and write, that was the only way we wanted to return, when we felt like we were on the same page at that same moment, and we felt like we had something to offer. And as David had mentioned, I think after us talking about the idea of it and getting excited in discussion, once we got back in the room together, it was just undeniable. It was great to get back in that writing mode of inspiring. And it's nice to have the luxury of Pro Tools and being able to send files to each other, because we all live in different states now, and that's a good tool to use when you're sending ideas. But when you really need to finalize things and write and create, there's nothing better than being in a room together as a band, the way it should be and the way it was in the beginning for us. So it was nice to kind of remind ourselves and go back to that way of writing. And now I can't see us doing it any differently now that we've gone back to that. It's like, wow, not that we've sacrificed anything on the previous albums, but to realize that there's just something way more magical when we're in that moment, bouncing those ideas off in that time. It's just a way better outcome for us.
Yeah, and was there a specific direction you wanted to go with the new album? So you said it should be harder or
No,
softer, or just
no.
sit into
We never set any of those preconceived objectives for any record that we've ever made. It is never our intention to map things out ahead of time. That can, in my opinion, be a sterilizing agent from a creative perspective. And when you, instead of just letting whatever comes out come out naturally and gravitate towards whatever you feel, if you make things very defined, you're limited. And the nice thing about this time especially was we opened up ourselves even more than we had previously. And whatever perceived limitations we might have had in our heads, kind of went out the door. So it really enabled us to spread our wings a little bit, and it feels good. Yeah, this record is unique. I think people will find, and I've said this to other interviewers. I'll say it to you as well. I mean, our opinion is our opinion. It's our child, right? So we're always going to be in love with our child. It's not an objective one. We're very subjective. So whatever, we're always going to tell you, if an artist has gotten to the point where they're ready to sit down and talk to you about what they've created, then they must feel pretty confident about it. Otherwise, there's no point in sitting down, right? Ultimately, the decision will be the fans. This is I would say that, in my opinion, this is the most diverse and unique Disturbed record to date. Whether or not the fans agree remains to be seen. So far the reaction to the first single has been fantastic. So I can only hope that it will be as strong or stronger a reaction when the actual album drops.
Yeah. So you like the internet kind of reaction of the fans when you post a new video and they directly say to you what they think about your new song? And sometimes it can be really tough when they write.
I don't read those things anymore.
Okay. Just
I look
it's
at the
too
numbers.
depressing?
No. It's not depressing at all. It's actually very encouraging to see 3 million views in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't read the comments because the people who comment are the ones who have nothing better to do. Okay?
Yeah.
The average consumer, the average person, they watch or they don't. They like or they don't. The people who will take the time to actually write something and bitch about it aren't really worth our time.
Okay. Yeah, but sometimes it might be nice to read, I've waited so long for the...
That
new
is
song.
always amazing to read. It's always amazing to read. And we get those, any interaction we do with the fans at any given point in time, we see it. And look, we still all look at the Disturbed, Facebook pages, and we look at comments, and we're encouraged to see, but that's not what ends up pushing it. What ends up pushing it is our desire to be able to play this, our desire to be able to set people free, our desire to be able to empower people, to be able to take this music, go out and play it, and just give people a reason to forget about the problems of their lives for an hour and a half or 2 hours. So, it's a much more pure sort of method.
Yeah. And when will you start to prepare for touring?
We already are.
Okay. So
It's we just announced our only show that we'll be having this year, which is going to be in Chicago, in the band's hometown, and
on record release day, so
August 21st at the House of Blues. So we're preparing for that, and we're since the secret about this record only came out a few weeks ago, we've been starting to plan the touring. We should hopefully have announcements to make prior to the record's release. And we look forward to all of it.
Yeah. And have you changed something about your gear in the last 4 years? So have you used the time to check out new gear?
Oh, for sure. I think because over the years with Disturbed, of the routine of writing, recording, touring, very little has changed then. But when we started the hiatus, it definitely gave me some time to really dive into other things and try, I think as most guitar players, or a lot of guitar players, at least my friends, that are never always satisfied with what they have, they're always tweaking them and trying new things or whatever. So yeah, I kind of dove into changing my guitar rig around, and I'm still in the process again to tweak it even more. So as we speak, I've been kind of trying to incorporate a few things into my rig now. My last setup, I was using a Bogner Ecstasy 20th anniversary head combined with an Egnator head. So I was just using the best of both worlds with those heads, and now I'm incorporating. I had a fractal unit that was in there as well that I'm kind of in between that and a Kemper profiler head that I want to incorporate in there just because I used it in the studio. It was amazing. And with technology these days too, everybody's just so competitive, making great amps and making them easier to travel with too. And something like the Fractal and Kemper are great for that, especially if you're traveling around the world and you need to fly something over or whatever. It's you can have everything you need in a more compact, smaller setup in those occasions. But yeah, so I'm constantly just trying to change things and tweak them and just really dial in the tone for this album. Now that this album's done, I gotta recreate some of those tones and those moments on this album. So I definitely got some homework to do before we go back out on the road.
Okay.
That's the wonderful thing about being a singer. I don't have to do any of that. But I do have to practice my ass off and be able to perform these songs to the level that they deserve, which I have been doing. It's going to be fun, actually. We're going to start practicing in a little while, getting ready for that show. So I'm actually looking forward to jamming these tunes again.
Yeah, but have you like your favorite microphone you like to use live, or is it just?
Yeah, unfortunately, you're not going to get a whole bunch of techie stuff from me, brother. I don't have what to give you. I use whatever microphone they give me. I'm good with whatever. I used to use Shure. I went to Audio-Technica. I don't know who is going to be my company when we go back out, or our company when we go back out. It really all depends. I don't have a specific preference. I can make most everything work. It's really all up to the front of house guy, not me. At the end of the day, as long as they have enough compression on me, we're okay. Just because of the rapid fire, and it can be a little difficult to control, but that's about it. I'm simple.
Yeah, that's the easiest way when your voice brings everything you need.
When it's healthy, yeah.
So is it easy to keep it in shape?
No.
When you're on tour?
No, it's not. It's a constant battle, and it takes a lot of discipline. Traveling isn't easy on the body, period. But when you're touring, there's a lot of wear and tear. There's a lot of, it can be stressful. But what's most taxing are the actual performances themselves, and you just gotta make sure that you have your technique down. You gotta make sure that you understand what you're doing, that you're not putting yourself in a situation where you could potentially hurt yourself. I mean, training and technique as a vocalist when you tour professionally and rigorously is absolutely fundamental. If you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna get caught with your pants down real quickly. So.
Okay, and of course your voice is one of the trademarks of Disturbed. What would you say is important for a Disturbed song? Without it wouldn't be really Disturbed?
I think that there are many elements of a Disturbed song that make it Disturbed. Thankfully, each one of the members of this band has an identifiable style of their own. And if it were just me, I don't think it would be enough. When Danny plays, it's him. Yeah. When Mikey plays, it's him. Dan's, ability to craft some of the most interesting riffs that I know of, and Mikey's ability to be able to, be a slamming drummer, but at the same time recognize the value of space. Those are two gigantically important elements, and they each have their own style. They each have their own identity when they play. So I think that it isn't just one thing So I can't say that there's one thing that you take it out and all of a sudden it doesn't sound like Disturbed anymore. And then I can go a step further. Because when you listen to this record and the diversity of it, is there a one thing anymore? You know what I mean? Because there's so many different elements and there's so many different textures on this record and vibes. Some of it, isn't stereotypically Disturbed. So who knows what the one thing is anymore?
Yeah, and now as you restarted the band, somehow are you still in like songwriting mode and using this new energy you have for pushing it extremely forward?
I think once we were towards the end of the recording process, it was about 3.5, close to 4 months almost when we were starting the mixes then. And, for me personally, I was still the energy and the excitement of writing it. And part of me didn't want to stop because I was just excited about, I think we all were excited about what we came up with. So it was a little tougher being away from home at the moment. But like I said, that other side of me is like, wow, I don't want to stop because everything was a new evolution, a new chapter of the band. I think everything was just evolving into that next step for us. So I almost didn't want to stop for a minute. But now that we have this album and it's coming out next month, it's all about just delivering a great live show. I think our focus is, we switch gears now. We know that the album's complete, and now it's about what can we do new or different to the live show that the fans, so we're not predictable live either. And we've talked about maybe not only performing some of the new tracks, but maybe going back into some of the old tracks or some songs that we haven't played really that much live and some that we've never played live. To have a catalog as big as we have now, unfortunately, there's a lot of songs that don't get their chance live because, of course, we always want to give the fans what they want when it comes down to some of the hits that they're there for. But on the other end, I think we realize that at this point in our career that there's a lot of the fans that, besides wanting those, they want some songs that they might be their favorites that they don't get to hear live often. And I think we want to be able to throw in some of those audibles there of changing up the shows every couple days or something to give a little bit more variety with the live show.
Yeah. And as you said before, like your songs are somehow like your children. Nowadays, it tends to get more like people do more streaming, don't buy that much albums. Is it sometimes hard when like it's like background music for some people when they listen to your songs at a streaming platform? Just
however people want to listen to our music, that's fine. However people want to enjoy Disturbed is up to them. They don't have to be completely, focused and, concentrating on it to enjoy it. It can be background. It's okay. To each their own. At the end of the day, what we're about is taking these songs and unleashing them live upon thousands of people. And as long as we're still able to do that, let them listen on whatever they want. Makes no difference to me.